Alabama, I think that's an understatement, and we're going to talk about it here on the show. The show's brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Bama loses to Indiana 38-3 in the Rose Bowl, part of the college football playoff. Look, Indiana played a great game. They kind of looked like a Nick Saban team. The tackling, the precision, everything they did was excellent. And Alabama was not ready today to play at that level. But we're going to talk about it. Kalen DeBoer obviously went for that 4th down and 1 from deep in their own territory. Then the play call was bad, and from that point on, it was Indiana's game. Phone lines are open. You guys make sure you hit those phone lines if you want to get in on the conversation. And man, I'll be honest, I'm shocked by this. Did not see this coming. Really did. All right, let's get the show started. All right, show's brought to you by Pearl River Resort in Philadelphia, Mississippi. That's like hour and change from Birmingham, 2 and change, or hour and change from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. I see the comments are fired up right now. 38-3, the final. I mean, who could have guessed this? Who would have guessed this? I mean, I'm sure some of you Auburn fans did. But you know what? I'm not taking up for Alabama today. I mean, this was pathetic. I mean, like, it just was. It just wasn't good enough. Indiana ran right down Alabama's throat. 215 yards running. Bama had 193 yards total. You know, Kurt Cignetti and Indiana, they might not have a program, for say this thing might not last for 10 years, but this year they're really good. And with Ohio State out of the picture, I think the team to beat. They're the number 1 team in the country, and boy, they played like it today. I can't believe it, honestly. But what I think we saw is that if you go out there with great leadership and discipline, you do the little things that you got to do to take care of business, right? Make tackles, be in great position, have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, use precision, make plays. Like, you can win. It doesn't matter what's on the side of your helmet. And in this world of NIL, who would have thought that an Indiana football team that hadn't won a bowl game in some of your lifetimes would come out there and be that dominant? Ty Simpson didn't get a whole lot of time. I know a lot of you guys are just thinking about some of the play calls by Ryan Grubb. You're sick of it. You don't like the play calls. We can talk about that. I know there's a lot of you that want to get on the phone, so I kind of want to get there too. But before we do, let me just remind you guys that we're brought to you by the gang at Patriot Roofing and Builders. I just want to get this out of the way, but I want you guys to know that these guys bring the show. Will and Justin, free inspections. You call, they're going to answer. Now that the off season's here, it's time to get work done to your house, right? They're unlimited home builders. They got a license to do total home solutions. That's roofing, siding, gutters, windows, and a full home renovation if you need it, plus free inspections. So check those guys out. Numbers right there on the top of the screen. All right, let's get this started and go to the phone lines and hear your calls. What you guys think? Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mick, Stan from the Ham.
Stan from the Ham. Stan, it's just a complete butt whooping today. Your thoughts?
My thoughts, Mick. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna this is gonna give you an idea of how old I am. But as a kid in the '60s, didn't have none of my buddies. We weren't old enough to drive yet. And we would get somebody in the neighborhood to drive us when Bama would play at Legion Field under Bear Bryant. And they used to come up the night before the game from Tuscaloosa, and they would stay at one of these old-style Holiday Inns on the Bessemer Superhighway in Bessemer. And I rode by there about 3 years ago, and it looked like a flop house then. And I don't even know if the old buildings, I mean, it was dilapidated. I don't even know if it's still standing or not. But I just say that's how long I've been going to Legion Field and watching Alabama play. I mean, it was in the 60s. I don't remember the exact year. But Mick, I tell you what, of all the football that I've seen them play, I was totally wrong about this game. I felt so good about going into this game.
Me too.
The comeback at Oklahoma, and and the way the game started, you know, when we stacked Mendoza, we had them backed up, and I thought, man, all right, this is going to be good, I think. But this team, Mick, Alabama, they cannot stand prosperity.
Yeah.
They stacked Mendoza, I guess, 3 times? And then after the sacks, I know they didn't let them, but Indiana drove down the field, I think, every single time and put points on the board. And Alabama they don't do anything. I've never seen a team like this that just cannot stand prosperity, and they don't help themselves. They don't help themselves at all. And you mentioned Grubb already. You must have been reading my mind. You may remember this, Mick, but I know this is the 3rd time this year that I want to talk about Ryan Grubb doing the same thing for 0 results. And to me, this is when the game just, I tell you what I did, Mick. I quit watching the game. I did a load of laundry. I had the TV on in the background.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a massive shred fest here with my shredder since like halfway through the 2nd quarter. But what I'm referring to with Grubb, he did it again. He brought, if I'm not mistaken, Jam Miller in off the bench. So Miller comes into the game. What does Grubb do? He hands it off to Miller, and he gets his usual -1 yard. And then Miller goes out after that play, and he brings in Daniel Hill. And Grubb thought it would be a good idea to hand the next play off to Daniel Hill. So, and that's the 3rd time this season that I know of, because I've called him out on it, that he would run 2 consecutive plays to the running back. The other times it was Jam Miller, back to back for 0 yards or a loss of yards. The only difference this time was that he took Miller out and put Hill in for the same results. Ryan Grubb just has some kind of mental defect where he thinks that's a good idea to run a running back for a loss of a yard or no gain, and then run the same damn play the next play, hoping for a different result.
Well,
I don't get it.
How about this, Stan? Let me just ask you a question. Let me ask
one more thing, Nick.
Okay, go ahead.
I think one more. I don't care. Ryan Grubb is brilliant. We've seen his brilliance, but sometimes it just makes me scratch my head, and it wouldn't bother me one bit if we brought in the next genius next year as an OC. I don't know. This just drives me nuts.
Well, they're not going to. They're not. Well, first off, I thought that the dumbest play of the game was I look when they went for it on 4th down, and you know we're way in our own territory, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I mean, they're going to punt. They fake. They're going to punt, and they go to the sideline, and then they come back out, and then they run like that sweep play. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, just run the ball for a yard forward. Go behind Proctor. You know, like you're telling me that you can't run a yard forward with your defense. I mean, your offensive line being that much bigger than their defense. And then when Ty Simpson fumbled, you know, it was like, and Indiana just didn't make mistakes, but they were never put in a position to make mistakes. I mean, like it was just like,
I didn't.
We got them early, and then, we just couldn't do anything. Like Bama has to address the lack of a run game. I mean, you just can't win against really good teams if you're one-dimensional. And they've been one-dimensional this year. They still figured out a way to get into the college football playoff, and they won some impressive games, but we knew they were flawed. The other thing is that they've had trouble stopping the run all year, and Indiana ran on them. So anyway, Stan, final thoughts, brother.
Oh, man. Well, like you said, no, I didn't see Ty when he fumbled the ball, but like I said, I could hear my TV in the background, and I heard it. I said, "Oh, here we go. It's over." But I really thought the downfall was when it just seemed like to me when Grub called those 2 running plays back to back for nothing. It just seemed like it was all downhill from then. No, Mick, just again, it was like I said, I started watching them in person in the 60s. I've never seen an Alabama team that could absolutely not run the football, not at all.
Yeah,
I mean, just it's amazing. It really is. Something's got to give because this is going to go nowhere. I've been supportive of DeBoer. I like DeBoer, but I don't know. It's going to have to get a lot better in this conference, and we're not even playing a team tonight from this conference. I know they're the number 1 team in the country, but look at all the 4s and 5s that we have. They've got one. I don't know. I think they may have 1 5-star, and we've got double-digit 4s and 5s. So the talent tells you Alabama should be pretty good, but they got demolished.
Yeah.
But at least I was productive tonight watching clothes and shredding. I mean, that's more than I can say. That's more than I can say for our team. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, Happy New Year, Stan.
That's it, Mick.
And thank you for calling in, brother.
Happy New Year to you, Mick. Okay, thanks.
All right, bye. Great call always by Stan in the Ham. Let me go right back to the phone lines. We'll run the show up until, I guess, kickoff of the next game that counts. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Oh, this is the other Stan from L.A.
Stan from L.A. What's up, brother?
Well, what an ass kicking this was, huh? We got school drugs.
Hey, Stan, I'm trying to remember the last time Bama took a beat down like that. Like the Georgia game, we sat a lot of guys. We were kind of injured, the Florida State game, we took a beating, but the effort thing was there. This wasn't like we didn't try. They just were better. Like they were just way better than us. Like we have even the games that Bama lost with Saban, where they, where Tua kept throwing the interceptions, and we kind of got blown out by, I think it was Clemson. We still I felt like we just, this one was like, man, we didn't belong on the field with these guys. And that's sad to say, man. Shula days.
Man, Signetti just pulled a Saban on us.
It was like the Shula days.
It was exactly like Shula, like a Shula coach team, like a Shula coach effort on the part of the players, and it's coaching, it's players. Bama went on a vacation. They came in all high, thinking that they were somebody because they beat Oklahoma. Okay, Indiana's legit. Let's just call it like it is. Signetti is a Saban disciple, and he's a no-frills dude. They were good last year. They got blown out in the playoffs, but they were pretty good last year. And it's Indiana, and he's getting this much productivity out of a school like that. And they just beat the living crap. They embarrassed the crap out of us. This is the worst loss that I've seen Alabama play in such a long time. And it is absolutely embarrassing. We went on a doggone vacation. They're out there playing in Disneyland, and Kurt Signetti, they came for business. They did a Saban business trip on us, and this is full on embarrassment. I hope DeBoer takes some lessons from this, because he's, there needs to be some obvious coaching changes. We need a new offensive line coach. We need somebody. We need a dog. We need somebody on this team that is actually a good leader and can put some discipline in the team. Deontay Lawson, he's not the dude. He's a captain. He's pathetic. The whole linebacking core was pathetic today. You know, they ran up and down our ass. They blew us out. Alabama. That was a Nick Saban Alabama team that Indiana was.
It felt like that, man.
And
they didn't miss any tackles. They didn't miss any tackles.
No, they didn't. They were disciplined, structured. They came for business. They came to hunt. They came to kill. And big bad Alabama, like walking in there and got the living shit kicked out of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope they, you know, let's let that soak in for a little bit. Maybe these people will, you know, sometimes it takes a good humbling in life to, you know, to turn the things. But hey, it's done now. There's nothing left for the season. It's over. And my only question is, how many people are hitting the portal now?
Yeah.
And what does this do to your recruitment? You can't go out there and put a field. You can't go out there and get beat like that in a college playoff and expect people to want to come for your program. If you're gonna show up like that, that takes the Alabama brand. It's just like the FSU game. It just takes your brand and it decimates it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't play. I haven't played. I'm not an Alabama football player or an ex-Alabama football player. But can you imagine the pride of all the other Alabama football players who built that program before and see this team go out there and do that? These people don't understand this. This generation doesn't give a shit about the prior generations that came before and built their brand. But they're reaping the benefits of what other people did beforehand. And when you come out there and you show up like that and you don't show up, you're just killing your brand. Nobody's going to want to come to play at Alabama if Alabama plays like that. They got skull drugged by freaking Indiana. And let's give Indiana credit. I hope they win it all. I hope they really do. I hope they take it all the way to the house. Screw Georgia. I don't give a crap about the SEC winning the national championship or whatever. You know, just let Indiana win because, you know, it'll make us look a little bit better by being beat by the national champions. So I hope they have I hope they play really good like they did against us.
And if somebody beats them, they're gonna have to play a great game. And I mean, that's how I always felt about the Saban teams. You know, like you could beat Alabama, but you had to play a great game. You know, we didn't have these. You know, and you could tell, like at the beginning of the game, that we just weren't ready to play in this game. You know, and the play call to go for it on fourth down was just such a momentum killer. You know, and you gave them a short field and they scored, and then you know Ty Simpson fumbles. And then all of a sudden, instead of, you know, you're down 17, 14 of those points came off of that. And they never looked back. But man, we didn't belong on the field with them. I did not see this coming. I mean, I just didn't. I thought we're going to be ready to go, man.
I thought we would really play better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we would have some momentum. And I guess, you know what happened? They can't stand prosperity. They really can't. They can't take a win and celebrate the 24-hour period. You know, they didn't prepare for this game, and if they did, this is on coaching. If they didn't prepare their players enough to be able to do this, I mean, this is all around. This is the most horrible loss I've seen Alabama.
Yeah,
they'll lose.
How about
it's disgusting?
How about Kurt Cignetti?
It's disgusting.
Like, how about the job that this guy's doing? You know, like he's a Saban disciple. Nobody thought he was going to be any good as a coach. He was like the wide receivers coach. He didn't get any chances, right? Now, I mean, you look at that. What I just saw was I saw kind of a brand of Alabama football under Saban out there.
I wanted Cignetti to coach at Alabama. I called for him. He was one on my list because he was a Saban disciple and he's a disciplinarian. He's a no-frills dude. He gets the job done. Look what he's doing with that program. Look what he's getting out of his players.
Yeah.
See, that's good coaching. You know, that's great coaching when you have, you know, a leader like that can develop the coaches around him and develop the players to believe in him. So yeah, he proved his worth today. And I like the board, but boy, he's got to clean it up, man. He's just got to clean it up.
Yeah. Well, Saban more.
He's got to be a better disciplinarian, and seriously, stop the freaking extracurricular crap and play some goddamn football.
Yeah.
You can make your money, but if you're going to go and play for Alabama, then quit farting around with your goddamn commercials and your NIL bullshit, and just play some damn football.
Play some football.
Let your products big.
Yeah. Well, Stan, any final thoughts, brother? So I can get to the next person.
Yeah, my bad. I'm rambling here. Great show again, Mick. Sorry, ended this way. We'll hook up again next year, man.
Yeah, roll tide, brother.
And keep watching you throughout the year.
Thank you.
Roll tide.
Roll tide, man. Thank you. All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. I know some of you guys are holding on. Some of you guys want to get in. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hi, Mick. My name's TJ. I'm calling from May, Texas.
From May, Texas. What's up?
Just calling because I'm disgusted, Nick. That's the worst I've ever seen Bama play since the Shula years, when I was a very young man.
Yeah, dude, I was there. I was there for it.
One,
terrible.
That 4th and 1 was fucking retarded. Like, what the fuck was that? Seriously. That set the tone for the entire rest of the game. And also it's incredible. 3 weeks in a row, the last 3 games, Georgia, Oklahoma, this game, just the team can't play a complete game and hasn't all season. The coaching staff, I'm not sold on these guys at all. DeBoer, I just compared to Cignetti, it's I'm watching Cignetti on the sideline tonight reminded me of the Saban years, and looking at DeBoer made me realize how far we are from that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and the crazy thing is, like, DeBoer's like, everybody's after him, like Michigan wanted him, Penn State wanted him, I mean, it was just one game. It's the second season, obviously it's an adjustment, but the 4th down call, we lost the game on one play. I mean, pretty much, right? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Like, can you imagine doing that in this game and then running that play, like a sweep? Like, what are you doing?
Signetti couldn't believe it either. You see him on the other sideline, he's like, what the fuck are they doing? He looked confused, legit confused. He was like, is this really happening right now?
Yeah, right. Like Little League football. They don't have confidence, though, that they can run the ball at all, TJ. And I think that's part of it because they haven't run the ball.
No, they haven't. And, it's incredible. They also couldn't run the ball last year very well either.
No.
It's kind of trending in that direction. And, they got to figure something out before next year, because the schedule Bama has is brutal. And there's just no way you can win a national championship being one-dimensional if you can't run the football. I mean, look at Indiana. They threw the ball maybe 18 times today.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I hope there's a culture change, between this game and the fall. The team seems.
And let me stop you. Indiana was 14 of 16 passing. I mean, that's crazy. Like, they just ran over us.
That's crazy. They did. I mean, they just marched the ball down our throats. The linebackers, Jefferson and Lawson. I mean, I don't know. Where were they this game? It's just, the defense just lacked the physicality to compete with Indiana, and the team just seems soft and undisciplined throughout the season, and they just really get exposed when they play disciplined, physical football team, like what happened against Georgia and this game here.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, I mean, even with everybody back and healthy, like we were banged up against Georgia. I mean, we were pretty healthy in this game. You know, this one wasn't about not resting guys. This was just about just a good old-fashioned beatdown.
Oh, yeah, no, it was ass whooping. You know, hats off to Indiana. No excuses. You know, they just brutalized Alabama.
What world? Let me ask you this, TJ. What world is it that we're better than Indiana in basketball and they're better than us in football?
Yeah, that's
pretty crazy.
It's crazy to think about. It's also crazy that this is their second 10-win season, and you know it'll be interesting to see how long Cignetti will stay at Indiana, because I think they'll do this as long as he's there. Just from what I saw from that team, even when they were up big, you know, you see them on the sideline, they're all business.
Yeah,
they want to keep their foot on the gas, and at no point this year at Alabama ever had that mentality. Anytime they got up by more than 2 scores, well, okay, we can stop. But really disappointing. I don't want to I'm sure there's some other people that want to get on the line there, Mick. Appreciate you taking my call. That's all I got. And hopefully this time next year we'll have a better talk.
That's right. Well, roll tide, TJ. Thank you for calling, man. And I appreciate that. Let me go to a super chat from Ryan Sullivan, $17.99. Thank you, brother. And you hitting us with a 20 spot on a night like this feels good, you know, because we're going to need more than a 6-pack to get over this type of loss. Mick, is this what we have to settle for, us being Bama fans in this NIL era? Today was embarrassing and disheartening. I think any dynasties are over, but is Alabama over as well? NIL is wrecking traditional powers. I'm shocked. Well, I've said this before. I mean, look, I love Nick Saban. I do. I think we all do. But when he was at Alabama, he was just not real, and he wasn't behind the whole NIL thing, building the NIL things at the beginning. I don't think he thought it was going to turn into this. And so we got a late start on that part of things. Then, you know, and then we don't have, you know, some of these Texas style boosters, but I think we do well, you know. There's a lot of money to be made around Alabama football, and they're just going to have to figure out how to do it, you know? So it's going to cost money, I guess, to have a team now, which it's supposed to be amateur sports, but it's not anymore. I'm going to tell you guys this. I know some of you you're not going to like to hear it, but I think that Kalen DeBoer is going to figure it out. I like him. I didn't like that decision today. I don't like some of Ryan Grubb's play calling. I don't like that we can't run the ball, but I believe in what he's doing, and I think that he'll get better from this. I remember him talking about being a coach and losing a championship game when he was at, I think, Sioux Falls, like getting blown out. And when he walked off the field, the other coach told him, like, hey, you know what? You're not as bad as the score, right? And I think he'll figure it out. You know, going through a season, now he's got Grubb back for a season. They got to do better with the running. They got to do better with the tackling. They got to spend their NIL money better. You know, their players are still going to come to Alabama. And I don't think Kalen DeBoer is going to have a mass exodus of players in the portal unless it's guys he doesn't want. He's got a very loyal team. It's one game. And I know that when you couple this with the Georgia game, 2 out of the last 3 games have been pretty embarrassing. But I think it'll get better. We're not going to have the Saban days. Saban had like the third string guys were like sometimes first round picks. And I don't think that'll ever be the case anymore. But thank you for the super chat. And thank all of you guys for hanging on. And we'll go back to the phone lines again. But hey, make sure that you guys like and are part of the next round. You guys know Jim and Lance and Ryan. I think they're all out. Maybe not Jim, but Lance and Ryan are out in LA and Pasadena for the game. and they'll be back on the air for their show. They'll talk about it. You guys, probably a bunch of you guys know the next round, but I think they're great. And, it's going to be interesting to just kind of see how things break out when they're on the air next time. All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. Thank you all for holding. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mick, it's Ice, man.
Ice, man. Ice, we were ice cold today in this game. I mean, this was
yeah.
I don't even know, like, kind of how to even – I don't even know what to say about it other than that's not something we're used to around here.
No, you're absolutely right. This is just, it felt like the Oklahoma game last year where we just couldn't do anything, like, on offense. Holy cow. Like, none of us really saw it coming. We kind of thought that at the very least, if we were going to lose it, we'd be competitive, We were healthy. We had our guys back. Jam Miller was apparently healthy, but I'm looking at the stats. He doesn't even have a rushing attempt at all.
Yeah, I know.
Am I wrong?
No,
Like,
it was Kevin
not on the
Riley.
rushing-
Well, Stan from the Hand was saying it was Jam Miller. It was actually Kevin Riley. Came in, got the ball, tackled, and Daniel Hill got tackled.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he was hurt. And they just
When you were saying that, I was like, I think you're talking about Kevin Riley. Yeah, because their numbers are very similar, 28 and 26. I can see how you can mess it up. I don't know. I'm not going to dog on Kevin Riley because he's actually had some moments of, like, real flashes of just greatness. So I think he's going to be good coming up in the future. I just don't think he's quite there yet. I think that's the story of the running back room is they're just not quite there yet. Heck, Daniel Hill, let's talk about him for a second. We've seen him, like, make these great little flashes here and there where you're like, he's right there. He's right there. If he can just hit that next gear, he's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just not quite there yet. He's young, and we'll see what he's going to look like next year. I'm excited for it. I think he's going to be way better next year. But no rushing attempts. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, we got Ty Simpson, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, and Austin Mack.
Yeah.
That's all of our rushing stats right there.
Yeah, I'll put it back up.
So, like, Jam Miller, like, I kind of felt like he was going to be a key to the game going into. If you would have told me yesterday that Jam Miller is not playing at all, he's not going to get the ball at all rushing, then I would have said, yeah, we lost. Because I think no, it's not. I think it's I know he was kind of our rushing attack this year.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he was good, go back to the Auburn game. When he was healthy and doing good, he was actually pretty solid. He was what we needed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It sucks. This is the kind of loss that you don't want to see. But there's some things that, if I'm looking forward to the future, trying to be positive here because, I've worked, 10 years of my adult life as a first responder. So I'm used to dealing with everybody's worst day. Okay. And this is every Alabama fan's worst day at the moment. All right. And the best thing you can do is try and be positive and be realistic at the same time. When Austin Mack came in, the offense actually looked like it was more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a knock on Ty Simpson in any way. Ty Simpson he won us 11 games.
Yeah.
So nothing there is no hard feelings towards Ty Simpson. But we can't deny the fact that when Austin Mack came in, the offense looked like it was actually moving the ball.
Yeah.
It actually looked way better. He was 11 for 16, 103 yards. And yeah, you can be like, oh, well, he didn't win us a game. He didn't score a touchdown. Yeah, well, he came in when we were down, 3 touchdowns? And the game is over at that point. This is just more or less like trying to give Narcan to someone that's dying.
Yep.
So, I'm looking at it now. It does kind of look like Austin Mack might be the guy, the front runner for the QB battle coming up this spring. I do like what I saw out of him when he was it a third down play? He kind of ran off to the sideline. He got the first down for a 10-yard gain. I know it's such a small play, but that's exactly what I was hoping to see out of Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe for the past few years now, was being able to make that kind of run. You got the legs. You see that it's not there. Just get upfield, get the first down, live for the next play. Don't put us behind the sticks. And that's kind of what I saw out of Austin Mack today. I'm trying to remain positive here. I'm really grabbing for straws here. But
look, Jeremy Bernard had a huge drop off.
Well,
I was going to say Jeremy Bernard had a huge drop off. He probably playing hurt, but he was amazing at the beginning of the year, difference maker, and he kind of fell off. And I think there's a reason why. And then, it was like Ryan Williams. I mean, I thought Ryan Williams had a decent game today. It was good to see him kind of coming back and making some plays. Let me check his stats here. 6 catches, 53 yards.
6 for 53.
But the thing about it was,
they
just didn't miss any tackles. We're missing tackles. How about did you see the play where Deshaun Jackson's supposed to set the edge and the guy just runs right by him? You can't do that. They didn't make any of those mistakes, but
this was not if you wanted to build a case for Kane Womack, this is not the game you show. Go back to the Tennessee game. We'll use that one for his resume. Not today. This was bad.
They're finally healthy. They just played.
I
like
saw
crap.
that. The one play that was kind of weird was we almost had it. I feel like if this play would have went the way that we wanted it to, could have really changed the game on defense. It looked like we were about to pull off a pick six right there.
Yeah.
And the wide receiver, I don't know if I thought it should have been pass interference or something, or holding, because he was blocking the guy from making a play on the ball when it was a pass. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not a coach. I'm not a referee, so whatever. But if that play would have happened, that would have been a pick six. We would have been up 7-3, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Ty Simpson fumbling the ball.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a killer.
I was talking to my brother. He just got back from deployment, so he kind of followed in my footsteps a little bit and joined the Navy too. He got back from deployment and he had no idea anything. This is his first actual Bama game watching, so I feel so bad for him. I'm just trying to explain the whole situation. I was like, no, so we have Ty Simpson, and it's a little bit better than Milroe, but it's also kind of like having Milroe in because it's inconsistent at the same time, Yeah. And then he's like, okay, well, we'll sum it up in one play, and then he fumbles the ball, and I was like, that's the play right there. That sums it up right there.
Right.
He makes a really good play, and then just yeah, I was like, well, what the heck? I don't know. I just kind of want to look forward to the future at this point, and quick reflection on the season. This is year 2 of Kalen DeBoer's tenure at Alabama, and he got us to the Rose Bowl. We're 11-4. Yeah, 4 losses is ugly, but at the same time, we won 11 games in a really difficult schedule.
That's true.
A really difficult schedule, and I'm proud of where we got to year 2. Looking towards the future. I am really hoping that this EJ Correll guy, he goes by EJ, right? EJ Correll. I'm really hoping that he is the answer that we need for this run game. And it's looking like he might be. So, Mick, this is going to be a tough one to chew on. I tried to remain positive here.
Thank you.
Leave it to the next caller to point out all the bad stuff. Roll Tide.
Love you, brother. Thank you, man. Ice, baby. All right, right back to the phone lines again. As you guys hold on, I appreciate it. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mick, my name is John, calling from Mobile.
What's up, John?
Thoroughly disgusted. I graduated in '83, so I've kind of seen it all. The first thing the board's got to do
I think, is he's got to replace the offensive line coach and the tight end coach, because unless it's just fluff, we've got too much talent on the offensive line in the offensive line room to play like this.
Yeah.
It's coaching. That's the root of the problem for me. Now, on defense, we don't tackle worth a crap. We haven't since DeBoer's been there. We just try to knock people down, and I don't know if Womack's the guy. I do know that. I mean, I would love to see them go out and get Bo Davis from the Saints and have Jeremy Pruitt come in as an analyst or something, because what they're doing on defense ain't working. Because, I mean, that was embarrassing today. They were running through us like Swiss cheese. And it's a Big Ten school. It's not an SEC school.
Right.
This one's going to leave a mark, because I think it's going to affect NIL. I think it's going to affect recruiting. It's going to affect the standing, kind of the aura about us. I've got a buddy that, one of my fraternity brothers, that he lives in Tuscaloosa, and he just says, this was a mistake. He's not going to make it. And I would say stuff like, he just needs to change. We got to get some coaches changed and get some people in there that knows how to teach and develop talent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you're shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic. And he goes back to last year when we got the hell beat out of us in Oklahoma. And DeBoer was very calm and reserved.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, there were times when we would do stuff wrong, when Alabama would do stuff wrong, and you knew that the maintenance crew was going to have to repaint the walls in the locker room after the halftime. The second was just peeling the paint off the walls.
Right.
And I don't see him doing that. I see Cignetti doing it. But see, the thing about Cignetti is the only downside I see with him is he's in his early 60s. How long is he going to go?
Yeah. Hey, did you hear that comment? John, did you hear that comment he made? They were asking him about the nostalgia at Alabama and all that stuff. And he goes, my players don't know anything about that. They just know what they watch on film. It's like, look, Alabama's been to the top of the mountain a bunch of times, but we don't care. And that's the right mentality. Cignetti, I mean, he may be if DeBoer leaves, he may be the right guy for us, because what I saw today was Alabama football. It just was that they were wearing Indiana uniforms.
That's right. And the whole thing that summed up to me the whole game was we had them 3rd and long, and Mendoza, stumble, fumble, and fall. He looks like he was fixing to go down at any time, and he gets 5 yards more than he needs for a first down.
Yeah.
And but I saw one of the things, and Herb Street pointed this out during the broadcast. I saw a lot of quitting us today.
Yeah.
We were going through the motions. We were just glad to be there. Now, I think one of the things that hurt us toward the end of the year after losing to Oklahoma was we were playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And we kind of the last 3 quarters in Oklahoma, we kind of we kind of let the rough end drag, and we just kind of cut loose. But like a guy said earlier, that 4th and 1, when we were going for it, gave him a short field, that pretty much ended the game, because that was stupid. That was stupid. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't see the development of talent like I thought I would.
Right.
Now, I know we've got a lot of Darren's leaving. What's the guy? name's going to Oregon State. His name's already off the football staff. The wide receiver coach. What was his name?
Oh, Jamarcus Shepard. Yeah. He's going to Oregon State. And
Oregon State.
Looks like we're going to get Nix from Auburn to replace him. Then we're going to probably get some of those wide receivers. You know, we'll see, man. I don't think that we're going to have a talent problem. I mean, he recruits great. We'll win in the transfer portal. Guys like playing for him. They got to be tougher on the field.
That goes back to the position coaches I was telling you about. That's why he needs to make changes. Like Freddie Roach did a great job for us when he played, but ever since he's been there, the defensive line has been a disappointment. Even when he was there with Saban, the defensive front has been a disappointment. The last time we had somebody that really, from a defensive line point of view, coached people to whip ass was Bo Davis.
Yeah, I think we all love Bo Davis.
On the offensive side, on the offensive line side, one of the things when Bryce Young was quarterback and Marone was offensive line coach.
Yeah.
And he got COVID before the Auburn game. And between the Auburn game and the SEC championship game against Georgia, Joe Pendry helped out, and we did great against Georgia.
Pendry, he's a wizard.
You know, going 4 overtime.
Yeah,
he's still in the area. Pick up the phone and call him and give him to recommend somebody.
Right.
Or get on a plane and go to Philadelphia, and talk to the line coach up there who was at Jeff Stoutland. Go talk to him. Get him to recommend somebody.
Right.
Get him in there, because this guy, if you look at the offensive line coach's resume, he was at Michigan State for a little while, but he's never been anywhere where it really mattered and where he's had huge successes on the offense. So I just, I know Coach DeBoer's a nice guy, but I'm kind of done with the nice guy.
Yeah, Shula was a nice guy.
I want somebody to peel paint off the walls.
John Shula was a nice guy. Hey, thanks for the call, man. Any final thoughts?
All right.
Roll Tide, man. Thanks, John.
This
Appreciate
is going to hurt for me.
Yeah, it's going to, sorry, man. Sorry they cut you off. Yeah, great call, John, there. It's going to hurt for a while, but we're going to be we're going to be fine. I promise you guys. Like, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. We're going to get it figured out. But this it stunk today. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Mick, this is Stan again. Look, I hate to call back in, but if you'll give me 30 seconds, I had got away from my train of story there I was telling about when, as kids, we would go to that Holiday Inn, and it was just such a thrill when the buses would pull up and players like Richard Todd would get off the bus, would get autographs, Willie Shelby, the great running back. And when Bear Bryant would get off that bus, I know Bear Bryant enjoyed it because he would just stand about 5 feet from the door of the bus and let us clamor around him just because we knew he was great. And it was just such a thrill as we were kids. But that's it. And, somebody mentioned, I think, Mick, because of this game, I don't think that, we just had we've had back-to-back fantastic recruiting classes. Hopefully, the way this looked tonight is not going to deter any of these great recruits from coming in.
It won't. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I hope not, because they should be thinking, well, hell, I can do better than what they did tonight. I can't wait to get there.
Well, look, we were in the final 8.
So,
it was a beat down, but at least we were there. I mean, I know it's not Mick, what we wanted. Well, thanks, brother.
Hey, listen, I want to put out a call for Uncle Charles to call in. We need clarity, Nick. We need Uncle Charles to call in and give us clarity about this night.
Hey, listen, that is the best thing I've heard on the phone all day, Stan. If Uncle Charles, if you hear that, call in and tell us about the guy in the beans again. Hey, great talking to you, Stan. Roll Tide, buddy.
Hey, you too, Mick. Thanks a lot.
All right,
Goodbye.
go back to the phones. Thank you for holding on so long. Who's this and where you calling from?
It's Wes. What's up, buddy?
Wes. Man, Wes, I know you threw up in your mouth watching that game tonight.
Literally. That was I haven't seen a beating that bad since I had a banana at the Birmingham Zoo at the spider monkey exhibit. That was pretty bad, my friend. First of all, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
And you know, we've got we are ascending though. I mean, we are ascending. So I mean, you know, the brakes do work, and the wheels still are on the bus. We're not Auburn. We're not Kentucky. We're not. I mean, let's just keep it, you know, in the lane. You know.
Yeah.
We're going to get better. Where I think that we lost this game. If you look at Miami, their offensive and defensive lines were fantastic.
They were
the other night,
physical, violent,
and yeah, and that's like, I don't know. I mean, that's what we've got to we've got to protect the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do you think, buddy?
No, I agree. I mean, I thought that we needed to run the football, and then when you run the ball, then all of a sudden they have to respect the run, and you know, and then you can play action fake and do a lot of that stuff. We got so many problems.
Absolutely, and
doing the little
you
things,
know,
right.
Ryan Williams. And Brian Williams, you know, like I said, I know he's been catching a lot of heat, and I thought he played well, but the play calling was suspect on. But it's just been we just didn't have that nasty wannabe mentality, and that's what just. I don't know. It's like, you know, I just didn't see the intensity. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that was rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I mean, they got.
I mean,
they got beaten in every aspect of the game, every single one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm trying to remember the last time Alabama. I said that a few times this year, but I mean, this was a colossal beatdown. But it doesn't mean that, you know, that they're not going to be back next year. You know, I think that DeBoer's done a good job of adjusting.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, we're better this year than we were last year.
Right.
But, you know, like I said, so like it stings. I mean, we got just, you know, rented meal beaten tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But we are ascending still, and I just want to, you know, what do you think about the Ole Miss Georgia? I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I see him running out on the field, right? So Pete Golding is the new head coach, and I'm interested to see. I think Ole Miss is gonna. I think Ole Miss has a chance to win this game. I mean, who knows? But it's a wide open field. Indiana, after the way they shellacked us, I mean, you're gonna have to play a good game to beat them. But
if Ole Miss gets beat, my wife might beat me worse than you know, than Indiana tonight. So pray for me, okay?
Yeah. Well, Wes, great hearing your voice, brother.
Hey, I love you, buddy.
Love you,
I
brother.
always want to make you laugh.
He did.
You know
He
that.
did. Yeah.
I love you.
I might give you a call. I might
happy-
give you a call after the
Happy
show.
New Year.
All right. Hey, Happy New Year.
Okay, Happy New Year, though, man. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. There's Wes. Wes from Birmingham. Let's go back to the phone lines again. Get you guys on. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, this is Joe from Athens, Alabama.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, so I grew up with Clint Lamb. He is 2 years younger than me.
Love
Lives
Clint.
down the street from me
Love
growing
him.
up.
He's the man.
And we are me and biggest Bama fans in North Alabama. And, I watched the game today. I'm depressed, but I'll say this. It's better to lose that game today by 35 than to lose it in overtime like we did to Michigan 2 years ago, because we got a lot to learn from today.
Right.
And I mean, once it hit 17-0, I figured it was over. When it was 10-0, I still felt like we had a shot.
Yeah.
But this morning I went to Catholic Mass here in Athens, Alabama, and I prayed to God, please bless us today, and please bless Bama, and help us get a win. And it didn't work out, but we got to live by Psalm 37:4 that says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." And I feel like as Bama fans and Bama players, we just got to stay positive, and we're going to have a good year this year in 2026.
Hey, man, great message to bring to the show after the way that things went. Did you play football with Clint?
I did not. Well, I did in the backyard, and he says on there that he was physical. Now I was 2 years older than him, but I was a lot more physical than him. But it's not really fair because I was 2 years older. I did not play high school football with him, but you can ask him, and he will say that I was definitely physical.
Oh yeah. Man, I know Athens. I was a KA at Bama. We had a bunch of good dudes from Athens. Man, that's a cool town, and love going to Athens. And Clint's my guy, man. I miss doing shows with Clint. Hopefully, one day we'll get to do it again. We just don't work for the same company right now. But hey, thanks for the message, brother.
Yeah, man. Hey, roll tide, baby.
Roll Tide. Great call there. Great call. All right, let's go back to the phone lines and talk some more. I know that this game's about to kick off, and you guys are going to want to get your comments in and then watch the Pete Golding era continue. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mick, this is Brent from Aniston.
What's up, Brent?
Hey, long time watcher. I watched your shows for a very long time. First time caller. Appreciate you taking my call. And lifelong Alabama fan. Bleed Crimson. I'm one of the few fans. Maybe there's more, but that is not happy at all. And I have just seen a pattern with the staff. Now, as far as likability, I think DeBoer is a great guy. I like him. But I do think him and his staff is a little bit over his head. And honestly, I kind of saw this coming. His first spring practice when there was an ice cream truck at the practices.
I know
that
what is he doing?
That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah, I mean, and there's been a pattern. I think last year was year one, obviously, and they started out pretty good, and then the loss to the meltdown toward the end of the season, got embarrassed by I think an inferior Michigan team that we should have not had any problem beating.
Yeah.
And then this year, we get embarrassed by Florida State. And don't get me wrong, I do think that there was parts of this season that were very impressive. The winning streak that we had, the win on the road against Georgia was great. But there's been a pattern, and the last three games, the game that we played against Georgia in the SEC championship game, to me that was just an embarrassment. And I get that we were injured. But, it's like Kirby Smart says, the next man up. And, he Georgia had injuries too. And I think with this game, I've watched a lot of Alabama games over my years, and I know a lot of callers have said the same thing. But this was, to me, Mick, it's deeper than just, having a bad game or something like that. I honestly think that they may be a little bit over their heads, and the play calling and that kind of thing. I'll just get your thoughts. I know I hear a lot of fans, talking about give them a chance, and he's got to have time. But you got to remember that Kalen DeBoer inherited a gold mine. The cupboard was not bare when he inherited this job, and there is talent galore on this team, and this is how we finished the season once again. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents. I just wanted to get your 2 cents on that as well, Mick. Well, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words and for, being a follower or listener and all that stuff. We work really hard on this, and I love all of you guys that take time to be part of this. But Brent and Aniston, man, I appreciate it. I'll tell you what, Kalen, I'm fine with Kalen DeBoer. I think we got to get behind him. He's a highly sought after coach. I mean, Penn State and Michigan both would have loved to have him, but I saw Alabama football today. I saw it, and it wasn't on our sideline. That Kurt Signetti guy, and I know it's a big buyout there for him, but man, that's the kind of guy, that's the kind of football you want. Balanced attack, you tackle, like no nonsense. He's not buying. I remember when Signetti made that comment. He's like, nobody, they asked him about the, Alabama, mystique and all that stuff. And he's like, you guys probably know more about the mystique than my team. They just know what they watch on film. And it reminded me of when Alabama was playing against LSU and Nick Saban was at LSU. And we won down there. You remember we had that winning streak that went from like 1969, or we didn't lose. Maybe there was a tie in there, but we didn't lose in Baton Rouge from 69 until like 2000 something. It was 2002, 2003, 2000. I don't have it up here, but anyway, I was at the game, and I remember Saban was LSU coach, and they asked him about it, and they're like, this team didn't play those games, and I love that. I still believe in Kalen DeBoer, and I think that one of the things that you guys got to remember is that he has made adjustments to this job a lot with his personality, with his staff. He's recruited fantastically well. He's got to look, that was an embarrassment, but he knows that. Indiana's a great team. And they just are. And they don't miss tackles. It kind of reminded me of Saban too. Indiana must have, this is the thing I kept thinking of. Indiana must have really great scouts. And when Alabama was in the midst of their dynasty, they had great scouts too. It's not just being able to go out and get players, but you got to go out and scout the right players. Sometimes a guy will have a 5-star next to their name, but they're not going to be a 5-star. And great talent scouts can figure that out. So awesome call. All right, let me go to the phone lines, and we'll do it again. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Nick, what's up, man? This is David from Tuscaloosa.
What's up,
you
David?
had that hat on the other day I gave you.
Hey, what's up, man? I did have that hat. And let me say this.
Saw it, brother.
I love it.
Of it. I said, look, man, he's got that.
I told Coker, I said, we gotta just tell everybody on here how much we love what the police do, because we talk about this all the time, and the people in the service industry, whether you're talking about first responders or the police or the National Guard, all that, man, you guys kill it. We appreciate the gear, man, and I think that's my new lucky hat, to be honest with you. I love that hat. It's an Alabama State Trooper ball cap. And David, I love you for giving me that too, man. Tell me what you thought about the game. Save us on here, because we're some upset people.
Well, I'm going to start off kind of jokingly and say We went all the way to Pasadena, California for a damn field goal. That's pretty bad. Go all that far and kick a field goal. There's really no excuse, Nick. I mean, we were healthy, healthy as we've been since October.
Yeah.
And that's the best performance we could do on a quarterfinal college football playoff game. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm with you. I think Kalen's the guy, but man, there's going to have to be some soul searching after this game, and not only this game, the SEC championship. A lot of that's going to have to be reviewed if he's got the right assistants in line, some player adjustments. And now I do agree with the quarterback adjustment he did tonight or today, but I think it was a little bit too late. But really, at the end of the day, I don't really think it would have mattered. I don't think the team had the effort that Indiana was showing.
Indiana was so well coached. I mean, and I'm not saying that.
Yes.
With DeBoer, it kind of felt like it's been a struggle sometimes this year, but it's been really good sometimes this year too. I mean, we've seen a lot. There was that run they had when they beat all the ranked teams, the discipline. They weren't turning the ball over. But what I saw from Indiana today was in position, making tackles, right? Blocking, not missing blocks, adjustments, guys that can catch. I mean, a quarterback that is a Heisman Trophy winner, and I know why now. It's a really good team.
And I agree with that. And that's why you'll see them in the championship game. I think they're going to handle Oregon next week, and they'll face, more than likely, in my opinion, Georgia. And they got a good shot to being your national champs.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it too. I mean, I just didn't expect that type of performance. But the thing about it was when you go for it on 4th and 1 in your own territory, and the play that you run's a sweep, or no. I mean, you got to run a play that you're guaranteed to get a first down on. And I'm 100%. Telling you that just wasn't the play. And I was at my buddy Bricken's house, and he's just like, you got to punt here. And I was like, I mean, they play football like this now. But you know what? Indiana had the number 1 defense and the number 4 offense. So maybe punt. Maybe you do punt.
Yeah, it's not only frustrating, Nick, but you just hate to be destroyed like this on national TV in a college football playoff game. I mean, I would have appreciated a more closer match than just getting blown out like this and seeming like we had no effort whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, they came back against Oklahoma. They just weren't coming back today. They spotted them 14 points. No. The Ty Simpson fumble was against a really good team like that. That was the last straw. Like you just can't make mistake after mistake after mistake. Do you think that Ty Simpson will be the quarterback next year, or you think he'll go to the NFL? What do you think? What do you kind of think on that front?
Man, to be honest with you, I don't know what his NFL, I don't know what you want to call it, stakes are like right now. I mean, with his performance towards the end of the year, when you go from a Heisman runner to a very bad performance toward his end of his games. I mean, from the last several games, SEC championship, I mean, down 17-0 against Oklahoma, and everybody has to admit the defense brought us back in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are in his ear saying, man, I don't know if the draft is going to work out in your favor. I mean, he damn sure won't go in the first round. it may be fourth or fifth round, and may even further than that. But if it's not for that, man, I just don't see him being the starter next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and Austin Mack came in. And
what about you?
Well, Austin Mack, yeah, I was going to say Austin Mack came in and he moved the ball a little bit. You know, he's definitely pretty light on his feet. But then Keelan Russell is, you know, a super recruit. And I think by next year, he's going to be in position to at least challenge for the starting quarterback job. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like Ty. I think Ty's going to end up going to the NFL, but I might be wrong. I mean, he was projected as one of the top 3 quarterbacks. Now, part of his problem is that Bama's can't block. You know, like it's when they were blocking, he was having a great season. But it's the running backs are missing blocks, and and then guys are getting beat at the line, and then so it's not all on him to me.
No. I agree with that. Absolutely. It ought to be interesting. It's just, man, it's not the performance I wanted to see like many guys out there. And look, I know other people are calling in. I just saw the hat the other day and kind of wanted to vent at the same time today, and hope to see you sometime next year.
Yeah, I was at my family reunion, and I think I told you my cousin is a trooper in Biloxi, or an officer in Biloxi, and I was telling him about the hat. Yeah, we're all the way up in Maryland for this, but I was telling him about that hat. I was I love it, man. Like, when I wear it, I got to be a little, like I got to do everything right. It's like it's like putting on like something special. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it.
Well, when you come to when you do a show in Innisfree, we'll have to do maybe a post game in my man cave. You got to see it.
I'd love to.
You'll appreciate that.
Yeah,
it'll be a good background for you. Trust me.
Let's do it, brother. Well, look, you have a happy New Year, David, and appreciate you, and roll Tide, my friend.
You as well, brother. Roll Tide.
All right, that's David from Tuscaloosa, great dude there, and tough loss for Alabama. As you can tell, Bama out. The games today haven't been great. Oregon kind of ran the score up at the end of that game to make it 23-0. I mean, they scored a touchdown with like no time left, where they could have just taken a knee. But they beat Texas Tech in shutout style. Bama scored 3 against Indiana. So you got Oregon and Indiana, the rematch. Indiana went to Oregon and beat them earlier this year, so maybe some revenge in that game. And then last night, I found the performance by Miami super impressive. I did not think that Miami was going to beat Ohio State. They did so 24-14. I felt like they were in control of that game. Their defense was ferocious. They reminded me of the old Miami, and the winner of the game that's on right now between Ole Miss and Georgia will play them. And I as we watch right now, it's another rematch, right? These two teams played in the regular season, and Georgia outlasted Ole Miss in Athens. So should be a good night in the Sugar Bowl for that game. Now, let me go through the stats with you guys. Before I do, though, let me tell you that we are brought to you by Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City. Man, Keith absolutely takes care of business. I just got back from up there, and you cannot find a better spot to vacation. Right there on the water, the sunsets, the famous Ocean City Boardwalk, Secrets Bar, the Green Turtle, who sent us some gear. Absolutely great place, and make sure that you go by there and say hi to Keith. And I know some of you guys have told me that you go there. So, because we got people that watch from all over the country, really all over the world. So we appreciate those guys so much. And again, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort in Philadelphia, Mississippi, where you could have gone to the sports book today and laid your money on Indiana. You would have given up 7.5. Coker kind of hinted to the fact that he didn't like the spread being that high. that Vegas was asking you to take Bama, and there was a reason why. Well, we found out. But let me go through some of these stats with you guys one more time. It was, and I want to say it was complete dominance by Indiana. I mean, they showed up and they beat Alabama like Alabama used to beat teams. The Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza, only threw the ball 16 times. He was 14 of 16, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Indiana's rushing attack, Keelan Black was 15 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Roman Hemby, 18 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. They absolutely took advantage of a weakness that Bama's had all year, and that's stopping the run. Austin Mack and Ty Simpson all played quarterback, and Daniel Hill was back there for a play. So he's listed on the sheet. But Ty Simpson, 12 of 16, 67 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Austin Mack, 11 of 16, 103 yards, and was 6.4 per play. Alabama rushing, sadly, again, not much there. Ty Simpson led the team, 3 carries, 17 yards, but he had a fumble. Daniel Hill, 5 carries, 13 yards. Kevin Riley, 3 carries, 2 yards. And receiving, Jeremy Bernard, 4 catches, 60 yards for Bama. Ryan Williams, 6 catches, 53 yards. Josh Cuevas, 4 catches, 35 yards. We're going to miss him, by the way. Isaiah Horton, a couple of catches, 16 yards. And Daniel Hill out of the backfield, 7 catches, but only 5 yards. Bama wasn't breaking a whole lot of tackles. I mean, the yak wasn't yakking very much for Bama. Charlie Becker had 2 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown for Indiana. Omar Cooper Jr., 3 catches, 45 yards, and a touchdown. And then Elijah Sarrett had 4 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. Bama scored 3 points. So Connor Talty with all 3 points today, and what was just one of the weakest efforts I can remember. Team stats: first downs, Indiana 22, Bama 11. Third down, Bama was only 3 of 11. Indiana was 9 of 14. Kicked our rear ends in that aspect. Ole Miss just kicked the field goal, so they're on the board first. Total yards, Indiana blew Alabama out, 407 to 193. Passing yards, 192 to 170, Indiana. Rushing yards, another just awful performance for Alabama, only 23 total rushing yards. Indiana had 215. And Indiana dominated time of possession, 34.21 to 25.39. And that was that. So now what, you ask? And the question to me is, who hits the transfer portal? It opens on Friday. That's tomorrow. So some guys are going to leave. Be interesting to see who that is at Alabama. But I think Alabama will also gain some players in some prominent spots in the portal as well. I think that this is going to be, like our friend from Athens said, I think that this is going to be a learning moment for Kalen DeBoer and his staff. The other thing, too, is that the SEC is really doing itself a disservice by playing anybody that's any good outside of the conference, because our teams just look destroyed by the time we get to the playoff because of the tough schedule. Indiana is a really good team, but you know what? They also had a lot of games where they didn't really have to do a whole lot. We had a really grueling schedule, right? And I think that the injuries really kind of stacked up for us. Going into next season, first priority's got to be offensive line, running backs blocking, and running the ball. The running game this year was not good enough. It just wasn't. And that's an area where Alabama's got to improve. I think the second thing is figure out who's going to be the quarterback. I mean, is it going to be Ty Simpson? Is he staying? You know, and how's that going to look? And then is there a battle between Russell and Mack? And defensively, got to tackle, you know? And you can look at that Indiana team and how they did all the little things, and that's what Alabama's got to get back to. But, you know, I was super impressed by Curt Cignetti and Indiana. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it's almost like when Nate Oates came to coach our basketball. You know, Indiana never really played football. They've been a joke for a long time, but they're a legitimate contender right now. And you know, like I think a lot of you guys said, hey, I'm fine with them winning it all. It'd be interesting to see what happens next week. This guy on here, I just want to call this guy out. Look, dude, I'm going to tell you, you're a clown. Go look at the schedule that Indiana played at the beginning of the season. I mean, you're a complete idiot if you think that this is a good schedule. Let me pull this up because there's one of these morons that wants to get on here and start talking shit. You played Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State. So even someone that's got a low IQ like you has to know that that's a weak schedule. Now, let me compare that to what we played at the beginning of the year, just because you probably can't read. So let me do it for you. Let me just go ahead and show you. Let me go ahead and give you a little edumacation for you from Indiana, you idiot. Let me pull it up. Bama played Florida State and Wisconsin in 2 of their first 3 games out of non-conference. Not Kennesaw State. I mean, it's not even close. So you can get on the chat and talk all your crap, but that's just dumb. Just absolutely stupid. And the other thing is this, like, Indiana might have won the football game, but guess what? Just look back there, buddy. We got a lot of rings around here. Let me show you what one looks like. Because if you win one, it'll be your first. We've been winning football championships for 100 years at Alabama. And we're better than you at basketball. All right, well, that about does it for the show. Let me remind you guys of this. Hey, look, and I have nothing but respect for what Curt Cignetti's done. I mean, it's honestly, it's really incredible. It is really, honestly, it's incredible. And I, like I said before, I know most Indiana fans probably aren't like that guy. But you sit in here and you get in the comments, you want to talk like talk about the schedule. Come on, dude. That ain't even close. Like, that's like you might as well just go ahead and just and play the women's basketball team at football with that non-conference schedule. So, hey, let me tell you this. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi, the Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 amazing golf courses there at Dancing Rabbit, plus the Timeout Sports Lounge, which is an hour and a half from Birmingham, or no, an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa and 2 and change from Birmingham. And as I laugh here, play this commercial.
So, Jake, let's break down some game tape.
Hold on, fellas. Steve,
Hey, Jake, you ready to rock?
let's roll, brother.
Guess we're calling plays at Pearl River Resort. Wow, Jake's first throw scores. And Steve's got the crowd pumped. Man, they're absolutely rolling.
'Cause I don't have to be me till Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I ain't gonna face reality.
I tell you, Jake's still got game. While Steve keeps rocking aces. Boom, Jake seals it with a pick.
Come call your own plays.
At Pearl River Resort, let's roll.
I don't have to be me till Monday.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on the postgame show. Obviously, the last postgame show of the season, but appreciate all of you for being a part of it. Next round comes on 9 o'clock right here on this YouTube channel, Monday through Friday. There's a lot of other great content on here as well. So make sure that you're a subscriber to the channel. And you guys duke it out with LT, Ryan Brown, and Jim Dunaway when they do their show on Monday. But thank you so much for being here for this season, for ending the season with me. And from the bottom of my heart, roll tide, everybody. Have a very happy New Year.